Does anybody have a crush on me?
Chester, you know everyone does.
What a dick.
Traveler told me to have
Apparently
faith.
I had a few notifications, so we breezed past the answer to life.
I know that this
I
is
better
who
get
you
a towel.
are. I'm going to have faith in you, Yasha. And I hope that the Storm Lord can bring you home and back to who you really want to be.
Apparently I had a few notifications, so we breezed past the answer to life. Okay. I'm tracking I'm tracking so far. I'm on board with you. I'm following you. I better get a towel? Why? I'm proofing audio this morning, so I'll be in and out, but I wanted to say good luck with the writing today. Thanks, Vale. Morning, Lady Temeraire. Hi, Mythor. Mythor, who I think is Cameron, and who I forget is Cameron every time. I always forget, right? But I'm right? Am I right? Oh, I need to reread the Hitchhiker's Guide books. I haven't read them since I was a teenager. Oh, God. Coffee is so good. I knew the number 42. That one I was... yeah, I got that. I was following up to that point. The towel thing, I don't remember at all. Ba-da-boo. Ba-do-de-do-de-do-de-do. Do-de-do-de-do-do-do. Okay. Hello, puppy. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Who's your puppy? Who's your puppy? Okay, where were we? Ah, yes. The pit of despair. Don't even think don't even think about trying to get out of here, mate. I have never wanted anything more than to be a man on the internet who makes dogs go. I never actually watched the Hitchhiker's Guide movie because it was one of those ones that looked really bad to me personally. But what I heard was that it was like better than you'd think, if that makes sense. Like other people saw it and were like, that doesn't look very good. But then they actually saw it and they were like, it was better than I thought it was going to be. Not like, poetic cinema. Poetic cinema. Oh, I'm supposed to be listening to music because it's too quiet and I'm alone with my thoughts. Megan's been having dreams recently, and it's very cute. And she says stuff when I was popped in to get my phone so I could listen to music, and she's usually gets up around 6. She'd turned off her alarm, so I patted her on the arm and I was like, "Hey, sweetie, I made really good coffee this morning." And she goes, "I had the best idea for a video game." I'm like, good. I love her so much. Yep. Save the chubby unicorns. I myself have become a chubby unicorn over COVID, so I am invested. I've got skin in this game. I've got a dog in this fight. Oh, what a good song. Meant by Eliza Vetta. I'm going to paste a link to this song in chat. Because I think a lot of you would like it. That song. Not my friend. I still feel that you were meant to be. Oh, lie to me now. This is the headline. That is the headline song for a genre of music that I have come to think of as this wronged woman is about to justifiably homicide this man. And there's nothing cute about it, but it is kind of hot. Anymore. Do me now. Oh, we're big fans, Lady Timmer. Do me. Hey, why would you doubt? Ooh, that sounds like a fantastic mashup, Lady Timber. No problem, Nix. I do I want to see what this is? Oh, that's right. You have from what you've been saying, you have the fartiest puppy. I love it so much. In the face, that's amazing. Yeah, Nix, it's like, clarify your terms. Twitch, what are we talking about here? Oh, an outline is a good idea. Stealth Mystic. Soon. Soon. Trademark. You get it. Soon. No, but I did decide recently. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm going to publish it the way I want to. So I'm going to be putting the episodes out on Patreon as per normal. Then I'm going to put them up on Amazon. Just fuck it. I don't care anymore. It is bad for the algorithm. Fuck it. I don't care. So episodes are going up on Amazon, and if people want to read them that way, they can. If people want to read them on Patreon, they can. Because fuck it. I don't care anymore. That's a tentacly boy. Okay. Hey, what's up, Brave Bird? Brave Bird. I said burb. It's that kind of morning, I guess. We get back to book writing not too long from now, actually. Sorry, Erica. Well, I hope that I can provide you the motivation that you need. 'Twould be my honor. Um. Holy shit. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. We're done with admin. Should I record a chapter of Yaren, or should I skip it for today? Speaking of terms that have more than one meaning, Nix. Erica's last message. Anyway, I should record. I'm going to get coffee. Throttle that website. Okay, so should I put the script up on screen? Or should I put Adobe Audition up on screen? Truly the question of our time. Where'd my coffee go? Oh, it's in the booth. All right, just going to use the restroom and then we will begin. Well, hello there. Check. Check, check, check. There we go. Okay, Yaren, recording day 4, starting as always with 30 seconds of silence, beginning now. All right. Chapter 5. Yaren, Chapter 5. Once Shiyun and Uzo returned, Lauren told them she meant to ride for Bertram. They accepted the news with silent nods and readied their packs for travel. Lauren wondered what they thought about this sudden change in tack. Thus far in their travels, the party had relied on Shiyun's tracking. This new course must have seemed strange, but the mystics neither complained nor questioned her. In truth, she had begun to question herself. The visions in her dreams were strange enough, and she drew no closer to understanding them than she had ever been. But the vision of the smithy on the map, that was something new, and it disturbed her even more. What else might she see in the waking world? When something from her dream site appeared in true life, a great unease and disorientation came over her. Sometimes it left her almost unable to act. Now she feared that, in a moment of danger, she might see something that was not there at all. The thought discomfited her. As the day wore on, she caught Chet. As the day wore on, she caught Chet and the children stealing glances at her from the corners of their eyes, and she wondered if they thought the same thing. Lauren decided to spend one more night. Hey, gotta love spammers. Lauren decided to spend one night more in Sidwan before setting out. Damaris's trail had grown stale, and one more day would make no difference. Since entering Dorsey, they had never spent more than one night in the same place. They needed a rest, and they more than deserved one. A short while before going to bed, Lauren caught Chet's eye. "Our quarters grow stuffy. I could use a walk in the fresh air before sleep. Would you come with me?" He smiled too quickly, the way he always did these days, and nodded. But he donned his boots slowly, and after they left the room he walked sluggishly a half-pace behind her. He likely thought she meant to discuss her dream with him. In fact, she wanted to, but she promised herself she would not. They had not spent much time together lately, especially because they had not lain together since Yawamba. Naya's crime, or Auntie's, had left a lasting mark upon him. The mind required time to heal from such a thing, but it also needed help. Few people were better suited to help Chet than Lauren. And more than that, she was partially responsible for what had happened. She owed him more attention than she had given. The town... The town shone in the afternoon light around them. The low sun's red glow bounded from every snowy surface to fly back into their eyes, so that Lauren had to squint whenever she turned towards it. Lazy smoke drifted from smokestacks all around, floating up into a clear sky. Lauren hoped the weather remained this fine on their journey. Soon they walked through farmlands. The path south went up a hill and then turned east, bending back and forth at the corners of each farm until it joined the main road that would lead them to Bertram. Here in Dorsey, farmers used small copses of trees to mark the borders of their property. Each time Lauren and Chet walked beneath the branches, it felt for a moment, like. Each time Lauren and Chet walked beneath the branches, it felt for a moment like they walked in the birchwood again. "Do you remember Northwood?" said Lauren. "The way you used to take me walking each day?" Chet's head jerked towards her as she started talking, but her words calmed him, and he gave her a genuine smile this time, warm and not too fast. Lauren thrilled to see it on his face again. "Of course I do," he said. For a moment his eyes clouded. "Those were dark days for you, as these days are for me." "It was painful then," said Lauren softly. "But it was better to know the truth about my father. Indeed, I think it helped me. I had traveled for months, and I thought I rode a tall horse, staring down my nose at those below me who resorted to violence. Little did I know I had made my first kill before I even left home." Chet shook his head. "That is not the whole truth, Lauren. You did what—" Chet shook his head. "That is not the whole truth, Lauren. You did what—" "I did what I had to do," said Lauren. "I know. And even after learning the consequence, I have not turned into a killer. Yet it has shaped me. I know now that others, too, do what they must." "You are speaking of me and her," said Chet. Lauren shook her head quickly. "That was different." For a moment she forgot herself. She reached out to him and took his arm, but Chet jerked away from her as if she had pressed a red-hot poker into his skin. Lauren recoiled, drawing her hands to her chest. "I am sorry," she said. "No, it is I who should apologize," said Chet. I have been getting better about it, but still, when I see you, some part of my mind sees—" "No, Chet," she said, trying to keep her voice kind and firm at the same time. "You must never apologize. You did nothing wrong, and you have done nothing wrong since. I am at fault. I have been ignoring you. That is why I wanted to walk with you now, to try and bring back the memory of Northwood, when the world was a better place and we were, well, not happy entirely, but happier. So much darkness has come since then." "It has," said Chet. His hand rose to his chest, to the place just above his heart where the dagger of a shade had pierced him. It no longer gave him pain, but he would rub at it on occasion, and ever more often since Auntie. Darkness came, but it always passed. But not this darkness. Not now. Lauren ached. She wanted to reach out to him, wanted to hold him. She felt a desire constantly, and she knew she only meant to help him. Always she had to remind herself that it would not help, that it would only hurt him more. She folded her arms and turned to walk again, keeping her pace slow so that he did not feel the need to hurry. I thought the same thing, you know. After Jordell died, I mean. I thought the grief would never leave me. In truth, I suppose it has not. But it has become bearable. Mayhap you can hope for that. Chet was silent for a long moment. Then he stopped walking. Lauren turned and, to her shock, found him weeping. I do not want to leave you, he whispered. She did not answer at first. She did not trust herself to speak. Tears did not come, but she felt the ache of them in her heart, her throat. They choked her, and she fought to master them. I do not want you to go, she said at last. But I want you to be happy, and I want you to be safe. I fear that neither of those may be possible if you remain with me. A sob burst from him, and he scrubbed at his eyes with his hand. It was all Lauren could do to keep from embracing him then. I am not faithless, he said. I came with you to find Damaris. That is what all this has been for, and I feel that we are close. Even after learning that she has evaded us, I think I can sense her just in the next town. I want to see it through. Lauren looked down at her feet. Do you think it will help? Help you, I mean? He sucked in another cry as his head swung back and forth. An answer? A rejection? Lauren did not know. She could not hold him. She could not take his hand. So she gestured back towards Sidwan. Come, she said. Let us return to the others. We have a long ride tomorrow, and we both need our rest. Chet nodded and walked beside her. By the time they reached the town and returned to the inn, he had mastered his emotions. Likely the others thought his flushed face came from the cold, but Lauren lay awake where first need for barefooted. Believing the weak clinging to the night, feeding the waiting the faint beard. She'd be there. She'd be there. She'd be there. But Lauren lay awake long into the night, listening for every sound of him shifting on his pallet, wondering if he hid the motion of another silent sob. Scene break. 2 seconds of silence. Oh, stretchy stretch. They set out for Bertram the next day. The folk of Sidwan seemed sorry to see them go. They had likely caused a greater commotion than the town had seen in years. Before leaving, they checked in on the constables one last time. The Yeren wizard was bound and blindfolded. Magestone sickness had not yet set in, but Lauren knew it soon would. She did not envy the constables who would have to remain here to witness it. The other Yerens sat in a small cell, the only sort of jail for leagues in any direction, and not built to hold 5 prisoners. Excuse me. Oh, shit, what did this constable sound like? Fuck. I can't see my keyboard in this motherfucking closet. End of chapter 2. Okay. Coffee good. Ah. Scene break. There you are.
We shall see to them, said the fat constable with the drooping mustache. Lauren had learned he called himself Ham. The name was almost too appropriate. A letter has been sent to the city of Chosun, and some of our brethren will arrive soon to escort them to better holdings.
Thank you, said Lauren. Do not forget to tell them of the Mind Mage. She will no longer be so dangerous as she was, but no wizard should be trifled with.
Ham shuddered. I will remember it. Thank you, Nightblade.
Lauren gave him a sharp look. She had not told him that title. No doubt this was some work of Jem's. Glancing back, she saw the boy's crooked teeth flashing in a grin.
You are welcome, Constable, said Lauren. Your service will not be forgotten.
He puffed up his chest and saluted with his hand over his heart. Lauren gave him a final nod and led her party out of the town. The road to Bertram was easily reversed. The road to Bertram was easy enough, though somewhat slower because of the snow. The king paid local workers to clear it away from time to time, but they had not done so since the last snowfall. Sometimes Lauren's party had to cut into the countryside to avoid a large drift that had piled up. They rode as long as they could while the sun was high, and each night they stopped early enough to gather firewood before dark. At first Lauren had been hesitant to light fires, but Shiyun had advised it.
Bandits are more active during winter,
she said.
Bandits are more active during winter, she said, but they are not likely to trifle with our party. At least 4 of us look like we can fight.
Jem glowered.
I would say 5.
Shiyun arched an eyebrow.
As you say. In any case, I think they will leave us alone. Our greatest foe is the cold.
One night, Lauren and Jem went out to fetch firewood together, taking Chet's hatchet with them.
Lauren cut down dead-looking branches and piled them into Jem's arms, and soon the boy had a sizable stack. Once he might have struggled with such a burden, but now he bore it easily. Over their long journey together he had shot up like a weed, and he had begun to grow some muscle as well. "I have been meaning, Jem began. He cleared his throat and tried again. "I have meant to ask if I might start I swear I can speak." "I have meant to ask if I might start taking a watch at night." Lauren looked at him in surprise. "That would be most welcome," she said carefully. "But mayhap we will pair you with someone else, at least to start. I would hate to wake in the morning and find you had fallen asleep." Jem scowled at her. "Do you think I cannot remain awake when I wish to?" "I would never say such a thing," said Lauren, keeping her face entirely neutral. "Except that I would, for you have tried standing a watch before, with me, in the Great Rocks. I had to nudge you thrice an hour. You enjoy your rest, Master Urchin." His scowl deepened. "And what wise man would not?" Lauren chuckled. The boy's insouciance and seemingly bottomless cheer had been a comfort through many dark times. She wondered how she had ever thought to leave him behind, as she had long ago. A journey without Jem seemed a foreign concept after they had ridden so many leagues together, and the same went for Annis. At that thought, Lauren turned to regard Jem carefully. "I have been meaning to speak with you as well, but of another matter. How long do you and Annis mean to keep up this strain between you?" Jem's cheeks and ears grew bright red, and he ducked his gaze. It is not something either of us have planned, exactly, I think. And I notice it has not been pleasant for either of you. That goes for the rest of us as well." He sighed. "I know it." "You know that what has happened, you know, Vrishni. I can read words, I swear to God." What's popcorn? I forget this one. What is this? Oh. Here to make a popcorn. Popcorn? Popcorn. "You know that what happened is not your fault, nor is it Annis's." "You know that what happened is not your fault, nor is it Annis's. If either of you blames the other or yourself—" Jem shook his head quickly. "Of course not. I know that. Only, is that not the worst part, when no one is to blame? If she had done something wrong, I could take her to task for it. Or if I had done something wrong, outlandish as the notion might seem, I suppose she could do the same to me, and then there might at last be an end to the discomfort. But neither of us have done anything wrong, and so what can we do to fix it?" His words were all too familiar to Lauren. She had said something very similar to Zane back on the High King's seat. Many whom she held dear had left her, one way or another. First Jordell, then Alburn and Mag, and finally Zane. Yet they had had no choice. Jordell, Alburn, and Mag had been slain, all of them in defense of Lauren and her friends. Zane had been reunited with his son and had remained on the seat to see to the boy's safety. None of them had any choice in what they had done, and Lauren had had no choice but to move on. Yet that had not diminished the pain of their parting, and in some ways had only inflamed it. It had taken her a long time before she could think of them with anything but heartache.
"Mayhap it only requires a bit more work," she said. "On both your parts, I mean. Finding a way to turn your friendship warm and easy again, the way it used to be."
Jem looked down at his boots. Then he shrugged, feigning a nonchalance Lauren knew he did not feel.
"In any case, I suppose it was foolish of me not to predict such an outcome. I should have known long ago that Annis would confess such feelings for me."
Lauren cocked her head.
"Because of the way she acted. She has fawned on you almost from the moment you met."
"She has?"
Jem's eyes. I fucking love Jem so much.
"She has?"
Jem's eyes went saucer wide. "I have not seen that, nor is it what I meant. I mean only, well, how could any young maiden keep herself from desiring such a man?"
You fucking... at least I make me laugh. I hope I make at least someone else laugh. Fuck.
He held the bundle of sticks in one hand while gesturing at himself with the other. Lauren kept herself from cuffing his ear, but it was a mighty struggle. Still, she felt the need to pierce the bubble of his high opinion of himself.
"I hope she did nothing wrong by it, but Annis told me something of your conversation. And she made some mention of Uzo?"
It worked. Jem deflated at once, and his cheeks flushed anew.
"Yes, well, he is very—"
"He is," said Lauren, nodding. Uzo was indeed a beautiful young man, though she had never felt the same connection towards him that she had had with Chet. Uzo was indeed a beautiful young man, though she had never felt the same connection towards him that she had with Chet.
"Or with Naya,"
whispered her mind, though she quickly banished that thought.
"But unless it has happened without my noticing, I do not think that you have said anything more to Uzo than Annis said to you for a long while." "You have not missed anything," said Jem with a sigh. "I may think very highly of myself, and with good reason, but I hold no illusions about Uzo. He scarcely seems to notice me, and when he does, he seems to regardly refresh me." "He scarcely seems to notice me, and when he does, he seems to regard me... Why this fucking sentence? Why is this so hard to say? All of the... He scarcely seems to notice me, and when he does, he seems to regard me mostly with annoyance. And besides, how old do you think he is? What would he want from one who is scarcely more than a boy?" "You are not much younger than I am, and Uzo is not much older,"
said Lauren.
"Yet I see what you mean. He is a soldier, after all, and from what little he has told us about himself, I do not think a great romance is something he desires."
"Well, I long for such a romance enough for the both of us," said Jem. He looked up at the sky as if searching for strength. The firewood almost fell from his hands.
"But I suppose that is my lot. I think every great scholar and artist and warrior, and sometime medica, only lives a more complete and fulfilling life if they have suffered a great unrequited love in their youth."
Again Lauren's hand twitch. I twitch. Jem is such a fucking dork. Again, Lauren's hand twitched, itching to slap the back of the boy's head.
No doubt, she said instead. It seems almost a requirement.
Her thoughts went to her dreams again, the way they so often did these days. She saw Jem's terrible snarl, the way his face twisted in a rage she had never seen there in the waking world. Her head twitched as she felt his teeth tearing at her throat. She cut down another branch, but after she put it atop the pile, she took the firewood from his arms and set it down on the ground. Then she took Jem by the shoulders and turned him to face her. He looked up at her, though they were getting near to a height of each other now, and they remained that way for a little while, studying each other in silence.
You know that I care for you, do you not?
Said Lauren.
You are one of my dearest friends. I will never stop looking after you.
Jem's brow furrowed.
What under the sky are you talking about? It is my job to look after you, not the other way around.
Lauren shook her head.
Your wit is one of my favorite things about you. But be serious for a moment. I do not jest.
His mouth worked. Without warning, he leaped forth, wrapping his arms around her in an embrace.
I know it,
he said.
And you may be my favorite person in all the world. And that is quite a statement, as I have seen so much of it.
She patted his hair gently.
Good. I never want you to forget it.
Jem drew back and looked up at her, and she saw recognition in his eyes.
This is about your dream, about how you have seen me attack you.
Lauren nodded, suddenly nervous to speak.
Then take my vow, though I have given you one before. I vow never to do you harm. I would end my own life first.
He cocked his head and pursed his lips.
Though I would rather not do that either, if it is at all possible.
Lauren smirked and embraced him again.
And I command you never to do so. I only wanted you to know how high of an esteem I hold you in. As long as you know it, I am satisfied. As long as you know it, I am satisfied.
He bounced on his feet and stooped to gather up the firewood.
Then be satisfied. Only we should be getting back, for I am sure the others will not be happy until they have had a chance to warm their frozen limbs.
She smiled and hung the hatchet at her belt, leading him back towards the camp. But a shadow remained over her heart. She had told Jem of her dreams, yes, but she had left one thing out, something she had only realized recently. Whenever she saw Jem turn vicious with rage and attack her, he had been a grown man.
It means nothing,
she told herself.
Do you trust your dreams?
It means nothing, she told herself.
Do you trust your dreams more than the boy at your side?
Lauren glanced at him and hoped she believed her own answer. Oof. Can I squeeze in one more chapter? You know what? Let's go for it. What the hell? What the hell? I will send you to Jesus. My kids are obsessed with that TikToker. The one who got famous off of emotional damage. So, his voice lives in my head constantly. I'm going to refresh my coffee, I think. Oh. No, I've got enough left to keep going until the first scene break, I guess. Chapter 6. Yeren, Chapter 6. 2 days into their journey, the road began to wend through the western foothills of the Great Rocks. The skeletal trees grew fewer and farther between, giving way to an open but hilly landscape that may have been first need to be heard. The skeletal trees grew fewer and farther between, giving way to an open but hilly landscape that must have been brilliant green in summer, but was now a dead dark brown where it was not covered in snow. After 4 days of hard riding, they emerged through a great cleft in the earth onto a highland, and there they came to Bertram at last. The city had been built at the confluence of 2 rivers that came leaping down out of the Great Rocks to the east. The waters joined to form the Fanrong, which ran west to Dorsey's coast to meet the Western Sea. No kingdoms contested that coastline, and Dorsey drew great wealth from its fertile lands. Eventually, that wealth spread through the rest of the kingdom by way of the river. They paused for a midday meal of rabbit that Chet had shot that morning. While they ate, they gazed down at the city. Jem leaned forward suddenly and pointed. "Is that the King's Road running through the city?" "It is," said Shiun, nodding. "Bertram was the capital of Dorsey for hundreds of years. When the Dark Wars ended and the last Wizard King vanished, the High King took some of Feldemar's lands and gave them to the Dorsan King." Not Dorsan, Dorshan. When the Dark Wars ended and the last Wizard King vanished, the High King took some of Feldemar's lands and gave them to the Dorshan King. Or, you might say, returned them to her. They were Dorshan lands in the beginning, or else the kingdom would not have earned its name, for it would have bordered only 2 of the oceans. Jem's eyes widened as he stared at her. "The last Wizard King? What do you mean they vanished?" Shiun paused for a moment, and she looked at the boy carefully. "It is not something that is widely known, and it might have been better for me not to mention it. But the last Wizard King ruled in Feldemar, and held her kingdom long against the other 8. When the war turned against her, she vanished. The High King Andriana searched everywhere, but never found her. Underrealm lived in fear of her return for many years, but that is now centuries past. She died long ago, though we may never know where. In any case, when the northeast lands were reclaimed, the Dorshan king moved the capital to its original home in Danfon. Therefore, Dorsey has had 2 capitals, but they are both on the King's Road, in accordance with the ancient edicts." Lauren stared at the scout. She did not think she had heard the mystic woman speak so much in all the time they had ridden together, and Garrett suddenly realized how difficult her accent is to maintain. Fuck. "I thought you were a woman of Dulmone." "I am, but I was stationed in Bertram for a number of years," said Shiun. "In that time I learned something of its history." She bowed her head and tore another hunk of rabbit from the bone, looking slightly embarrassed. They reached the city just after nightfall. Lauren feared they might find the gates closed, but they stood open. The war with Dulmone was far away, and Bertram had no reason to fear any attack. A constable at the gatehouse asked a few questions, but when Uzo and Shiun flashed their mystic badges, the woman quickly waved them on. "You should have a badge," Jem told Lauren as they rode through the gate. Lauren frowned. "What sort of badge?" "A mark of office," said Jem. "You are not some simple traveler. You are the Nightblade." She gave a quick glance around in case anyone was close enough to overhear, but the street was mostly empty. "I have a writ with the High King's seal," she said in a low voice. "That is good enough." Jem lifted his chin. "It is not as impressive, certainly." To Lauren's surprise, Uzo snickered aloud at that. Jem beamed for the rest of their ride through the city. They found an inn with good stables for the horses. In the common room, Lauren bought dinner and a few bottles of passable wine. They had not had the opportunity to eat well since leaving the city of... Oh. Release the Garrett cut. Oh, no. Urine, uncut and uncensored. Now with 5 times as much Swedish chef. Lauren plunged the dagger into his... They had not had the opportunity to eat well since leaving the city of Dahab in Feldemar, and that seemed a lifetime ago. Lauren thought a decent meal might be good for the other's mood, and may up hers as well. It took half the coin left in her purse, but she tried not to think of that. Once they found Weil and Bertram, she hoped she could sell some of her magestones to replenish her reserves. And if nothing else, she could find a presence of mystics in the city. Her identification from the High King would be as good as a banknote to them, and they would fill her purse to bursting. They would send word to Cal, but Lauren could leave Bertram far behind before he found her. In the middle of their meal, she turned to Annis. "How might we go about finding Weil?" Annis thought hard, and then gave a quick glance at Uzo and Shiun. "The only thing we know about him for certain is that he traffics in certain goods beyond the king's law. But we cannot simply walk into a jeweler and ask for such a man." "A jeweler? Why a jeweler?" said Jem. Annis arched an eyebrow. "They are familiar with the transport and safekeeping of small but very valuable objects. It makes them particularly suited to smuggle similar goods." "Can we not simply ask for Weil by name?" said Chet. "Can we not simply ask for Weil by name?" said Chet. "He does not need to know what we wish to speak to him about." Jem and Annis rolled their eyes in unison. Then they each saw the other doing it, and there was a moment of uncomfortable silence. "That is not quite how it works," said Annis, a flush in her cheeks. "Smugglers do not like strangers who ask about them. Too often, such people are the king's law in disguise." "How does one meet a smuggler, then?" said Lauren. "By personal introduction," said Annis. "A friend who knows the smuggler might..." "A friend who knows the smuggler brings in a new contact. If Zane were here, he might be able to help us, but he is not." "So we must find someone with whom we can establish trust quickly enough to get such an introduction," said Lauren. "That seems a tall order." Annis sighed. "It is. These circles are carefully guarded even in the meanest of towns, and Bertram is a grand city. Still, if we promise, or at least hint, that there may be a considerable amount of gold available to our contact as a reward..." "Very well," said Lauren. "We will rest well tonight and start tomorrow." They went to bed soon after their meal and rose before dawn. In the morning, Lauren faced a dilemma. She had to leave someone in the room to guard their possessions. During their travels so far, that person had been Annis, but now she needed Annis for the negotiations. Jem was streetwise beyond compare and could be of great use in the city. Shion knew something of Bertram already, and Lauren wanted Uzo in case things came to a fight. That left Belch. The Nightblade Epic audiobook, The Garrett Cut, now with more popcorn. I like that. I like that a lot. Oh. That left Chet, and she did not think he would enjoy being left behind. But when she proposed it to him, he accepted quite easily. "I am the best choice," he told her, giving a small smile. "Besides, how could I complain about being allowed to rest? We are all road-weary. If anything, I feel guilty that the rest of you must remain on your feet while I sleep the day away." With the matter settled, the party moved out into the city. Lauren had not been able to see much of Bertram during the night, but now its splendor was laid before her in the dawn. It was nowhere near as grand as the High King's seat, but it rivaled Dahab for both its size and its proud history. The buildings were crafted with exquisite care, with solid white walls and glistening red tile roofs. Contrary to many cities she had seen in her travels, this one seemed to have been laid out with careful consideration. Streets did not twist and turn with the land, but had been laid out in a careful grid that made navigation easier. The roofs peaked the same as many in Dorsey, and very similar to the ones she had seen in Danfon in her dream. Shion led them towards the part of town where the jewelers lay. All the crafters' shops clustered near to the river, where the workers could easily dispose of the refuse and rubbish of their daily work. Annis carefully considered the jewelers one by one, and stepped into only the ones that seemed exceptionally fine. Would it not be better... "Would it not be better to try the poorer ones?" said Lauren. "Surely the Surely the less reputable shops would be the ones to associate with someone like a smuggler." Annis arched an eyebrow. "Do you think so? There's a great deal of coin to be made in dealings beyond the king's law, at least until you find the noose around your neck. Those who walk such dark roads know it, and they like to spend their coin while they have the chance." Lauren smirked and deferred to Annis's judgment. But though they entered many shops, and while Annis dropped many broad hints that they had very valuable gems to sell, they did not seem to have any luck. The shop owners did not seem to take the hint, except for one or two who vigorously denied dealing in cargo they called too valuable. When Annis pressed the point, they asked Lauren's party to leave, no matter how much coin was offered. After their fifth such attempt, Lauren was beginning to grow nervous. "Some of these jewelers almost certainly understand what we are talking about," she told Annis. "But they are nervous to speak to us for some reason. Do you not think they might send word to Weil that we are searching for him?" "There's little we can do about that," said Annis. "We must hope that we find someone more amenable before Weil catches wind of us." Lauren sighed and nodded, but then she came to a sudden stop in the street. The others paused, looking at her curiously. "Lauren," said Annis, "what is it?" Only a few paces away was a building. It had a plain wood door and a blue sign with a yellow hammer. It was the smithy she had seen in her dream, and in miniature on the map, and now it stood before her in Bertram. Lauren felt a sensation that had become too familiar, a wild churning in her stomach, and a disorientation that made her dizzy. "I think we should look here," she said, pointing to the smithy. Annis looked at it and frowned. "This place? It is a smithy. If I read its sign right, a steelsmith, though they may deal in silver as well. But they do not traffic in gems, and that is where our interest lies."
Yet I think we should investigate, said Lauren. She gave Annis a look. Something about this place looks familiar. Annis's eyes widened slightly, and she glanced at Jem. He looked from her to Lauren, and the three of them nodded at each other. If you're finished passing messages back and forth with your eyes, mayhap we should go inside, said Uzo. His tone was carefully neutral, but Lauren thought she heard an air of exasperation behind his words. Very well, said Lauren. Annis, lead the way. They went in. The smithy was larger than it looked from the outside, for the room stretched far back, mayhap twice as large as most of the other buildings. On the other end of the wide workroom, Lauren saw another door leading to the street on the other side. With such an impressive presence, she guessed this place had a great deal of business. Near the room's center was the smith. She leaned over a bench in conversation with a young man, one of her apprentices, Lauren assumed. But when she looked up and noticed Lauren's party, she came to them at once. Her arms and chest were bare beneath a lever. My voice is getting strained. I haven't recorded in it's been a while. Oh. I am actually going to refresh my coffee real quick. Also air this closet out. It is very hot in here. Okay. See if my voice will last till the end of this chapter. I'm glad I pushed for a second chapter. I need to get this voice back. I need to build up my endurance. My stamina. Her arms and chest were bare beneath a leather apron that covered her front, and every bit of her bristled with muscle. Her black hair was long but bound up in a folded ponytail, no doubt to keep it free from the heat of the forge while she worked.
She spent a moment sizing the party up, considerable arms folded over her chest. Lauren was reminded of Naya for an uncomfortable moment. "Good morn," said the smith. "Or near enough to afternoon, I suppose. I'm Kanja, and master of this place. Are you here with business? I hope you do not wish to apprentice with me, for I have help enough, as you can see." "Not at all," said Lauren. "We are travelers who have come far upon the road. Some of our possessions require repair, bits and bridles and things of that sort." Kanja nodded, her eyes roving over the group. They seemed to linger for a moment on Uzo, and her cheeks reddened. "I can be of help there, but you should know that my shop's craftsmanship is famous. My apprentices is... My apprentices and I do good work, and my prices reflect our quality." "We would expect no less," said Annis smoothly. "Indeed, an artisan who takes pride in their work is a treasure beyond the value of mere gold. If that is how you feel about quality, could we beg a recommendation?" The smith dropped her gaze from Uzo to Annis. Her eyes sharpened as though she was surprised to hear such careful words from such a young girl. "I am not fond of begging, but what sort of recommendation do you seek?" "While we are in Bertram, we have certain goods we wish to sell," said Annis. "We have been searching among jewelers all morning, but none of them seemed quite right for the sale, you might say. It is as you just said. Our goods are very valuable, and we price them in equal measure to their quality." Kanja's nostrils flared. "I may know someone who could give a fair price for such valuable jewels." "I may know someone who could give a fair price for such valuable jewels." Lauren leaned close and dropped her voice. "I have heard of a man in That's not what the book says at all. Lauren leaned forwards and dropped her voice. "I have heard of a man in Bertram who is just such a friend to many people. Mayhap you know the name?" The steelsmith looked over her shoulder to ensure none of her apprentices were close enough to hear. "What name would that be?" "I was told it was Weil." Kanja Kanja gave a very slight nod. "I know him, and if you seek to trade in certain very fine goods, there is no one better. I would know." Her gaze rose to Uzo again, and she gave him a little smile. "Indeed, it is something I pride myself on. I have an eye and a taste for only the finest things in life." Uzo's brow rose almost imperceptibly. Lauren looked back and forth between him and Kanja, and she almost burst out laughing as she realized what the smith was saying. Just to be sure, she cocked her head as if... Just to be sure, she cocked her head as if curious. "And do you have a spouse who shares in those fine tastes?" The smith's cheeks reddened slightly, and she dropped her gaze from Uzo demurely. "Who would want such a thing as a husband? It would be only a denial of other, mayhap better opportunities that present themselves." Lauren almost guffawed out loud, but she restrained herself. Instead, she met Uzo's gaze and raised her brows. He glared back at her, and she could almost see him withhold a groan. Lauren tilted her head and smirked. Uzo gave a great sigh. Then he stepped forwards, flashing Kanja his widest smile. It was so bright it even dazzled Lauren. "I myself have never thought to deny any of life's pleasures," he said, voice almost a purr. Lauren thought the steelsmith might bounce on her toes like a child. Behind them both, Jem looked between Uzo and Kanja with a scowl on his face. A little pang of guilt struck her, but she dismissed it. Jem looked more annoyed than devastated. "I'm glad to hear it," said Kanja, grinning at Uzo. "Mayhap I could arrange an introduction, then, after a fine meal spent together? I promise you that my tastes extend to wine as well. You look like a man of Feldemar, so you may not know fine Dortian wine. We make it with rice, and it is clear and sweet." Uzo inclined his head. "I shall look forward to a new taste, then." Loris and Anna. Lauren and Annis turned away suddenly, both hiding their mouths behind their hands to stifle a laugh. Jem only snorted. Kanja shifted on her feet. "I cannot wait. Come and see me before the sun goes down." "It would be my pleasure," said Uzo. Then he actually drew her hand up and bent his lips to kiss it. Bent his head. Or just bent to kiss it. Then he actually drew her hand up and bent to kiss it. Kanja shivered. They left the shop and made their way through the streets back towards their inn. All were silent for a long moment. Annis and Lauren kept sneaking glances at Uzo, who stared stoically ahead. But at last he growled through his teeth. "If you mean to say something, you may as well get it over with." The girls burst out laughing, and even Shiyun could not keep herself from a grin. "I thought she meant to have you on the spot," said Annis. "I wonder if she would have if the apprentices were not in the room." "What sort of dastardly woman is she?" grumbled. "What sort of dastardly woman is she?" grumbled Jem. "Why, she only just met you. Is no one else suspicious that she agreed to give up the secret so easily?" "I, for one, am not," said Annis. "In the backroom dealings that take place between smugglers and thieves across the 9 kingdoms, such transactions are neither rare nor frowned upon. Indeed, many welcome them, for there are darker deeds that can pay for goods and services." Jem glowered in evident disagreement. Lauren forced her smile away. "But of course, Uzo, you know you need not do this if you do not want to. It would be an aid to the mission, but we can find another way." He heaved a sigh. He heaved a sigh. Oh, God, come on, we're almost done with the chapter. Just hold out for a few more paragraphs. He heaved a sigh. "I do not prefer women, but neither do I loathe them. You are not asking anything I am not willing to give for the sake of our quest. But may I speak freely?" Lauren nodded at once. "Always." Uzo stopped walking and caught her gaze. "Soldier to commander, I expect you to get me very, very drunk before you send me out to my doom." Lauren could not stop a single loud bark of laughter, but she forced herself back to solemnity at once. "You have my word, commander to soldier. And when the bards sing the tale of our adventures, I will see to it that none of them forget the great sacrifice of Uzo the Spearman." Annis doubled. It's a dick joke. Annis doubled over and screamed with laughter while Shiyun chuckled, and even Uzo and Jem wore reluctant smiles as they set off towards the inn again. See, Spearman is a reference to his penis. Oh, Lord. Thank goodness. My throat is woof. Boy, my vocal cords. Okay. Chapter 9. Okay. Oh, headphones. All right. Chapter 9. We had arrived to Taitu late. Chapter 9. We had arrived to Taitu late in the day, and so we rested overnight before Kun brought us to his forces. He made us pay for a room at the inn. Chapter 9. We had arrived to Taitu late in the day, and so we rested overnight before Kun brought us to his forces. He made us pay for a room at the inn, but it seemed unwise to complain. In the morning, Kun fetched us and led us towards his encampment on the northwestern end of town. Dryleaf and Oku came along with us. I was afraid Kun might order them to stay behind, but he said nothing. We had not spent a great deal of time in Taitu before, but even so, I could tell things were different. There was a tension in the air that had not been there before. People in the streets had a new sense of purpose, an excitement above the day-to-day lives of common folk. Wagons and carts moved weapons from smiths and town stores to Kun's encampment. Smithies rang with the music of hammers, and there was an extra note of urgency in every haggling merchant trying to extract more coin from each deal. As we followed Kun out the western gate, we saw the land that had become his army's training grounds. His troops were housed and fed in the city, but Kun had commandeered a few farms outside the walls to give them a space to train in weapons fighting, as well as to practice marching and moving in formation. There looked to be at least 400 of soldiers formed into ragtag groups. Some were in lines, while some were paired off and battering each other with blunt swords. As we drew closer, I spotted red cloaks moving among the crowds. There were dishearteningly few of them. "How many mystics do you have?" I asked Kun. He looked over at me, his immortal smile never faltering.
40, all told. Only 10 of them are of the rank of knight. Those I have assigned as lieutenants or sergeants in this little force. The remaining mystic warriors are my unit, to form a strong center on any battlefield we may find ourselves upon.
Mag nodded.
That is wise. And how many soldiers have answered your call?
403 scores,
said Kun.
Not so many, but more than my officers can manage easily. I am quite thrilled to have your help, even if you only remain for a few days.
We are sure you are, I said, letting a hint of sarcasm shine through. But if you feel we are spies, why would you tell us the composition of your forces so exactly? That made Kun laugh.
Oh, really? Any farmer in his fields could get a good count of my soldiers with hardly any effort. If you worry about the security of information, be assured that I do not intend to tell you anything about my aims, intentions, or plans.
Mag's brows rose.
How heartening.
As we came to the training grounds, Kun gave a tremendous, barking shout.
2!
Everyone within a span of him jerked, all the soldiers turning to look in his direction. Most of the regular militia simply stared, but every mystic placed their hand over their heart in salute. The closest red cloak came straight to us, and when he reached Kun, he bowed. He was not as old as we were, but he was not exactly young either. His frame was impressive, and he wore a short goatee, neatly trimmed, with long hair bundled into a tail that fell just past his shoulders.
"Captain,"
he said,
"how may I serve?"
Kun turned to the two of us.
This is Tu, one of my lieutenants,
he said cheerfully.
Tu, please meet Alburn of the family Telfer, and Mag and their friend Dryleaf. I have a wager with them of sorts. They are to be assigned as sergeants, and each is to train a squadron of militia for the coming campaign. If in 1 week
they can train a fighter who can defeat one of our order in combat, they are allowed to stay on as part of our force. Otherwise, they will have to leave us. Tu arched an eyebrow at that. As you say, sir. I will see to it that they drill hard. Oh, do not trouble yourself overmuch, said Coon, smiling wider. They are the ones being put to the test here, not you. After all, I have no cause to doubt your loyalty. But do see to it that they stay out of trouble, will you? With that, he turned on his heel and walked briskly away. Tu watched him go for only a moment before turning to us. I am Tu of the family Shi, he said, extending his hand. Well met, even if in strange circumstance. I took his wrist. Well met indeed, I said. You look to be an archer, he said, and then turned to Mag. And I would guess that you prefer to fight up close. Right you are, on both counts, I said. A Calentan archer is always welcome, he said. Come, a few of my squadrons...
What's up?
Just for saying hi.
Oh, hey.
I'm gonna watch what you're doing.
Okay.
A few of my squadrons lack mystics to lead them, and I've been trying...
See that pop?
Squadrons lack mystics to lead them, and I've been trying to manage all of them on my own. Let me introduce them to you. He led us through the training grounds at a slow pace, in consideration of Dryleaf. Nearby, rows of stuffed targets had been lined up for archers. Several large practice rings had been outlined for sword and spear training. Many people were hard at practice now, and I saw red cloaks moving among them, mystics giving instructions and barking orders. Some paused in their duties and hailed Tu, waving, and he always waved back. He looked to be a popular man and a respected one, and I hoped that would bode well for us. Our force numbers 5 companies, Tu went on. Each company is led by a lieutenant, me in your case. Lieutenants wield 5 squadrons of around 15, and each squadron is led by a sergeant. Only a handful of the sergeants are mystics. The rest are veterans of King Jun's armies or former mercenaries. He grimaced. Or I suppose I should say returned mercenaries, for they are all taking coin to fight once again. Not the greatest force we have served in, but not the smallest either, said Mag. If Coon can find a worthy target to point us at, we may be able to do quite some damage to the enemy. That is the hope, said Tu. He cocked his head. Though, as a matter of etiquette, I must ask that you refer to him as Captain Zhu in the future. Mag nodded quickly. Of course, our soldiering habits are rusty, but I will endeavor to polish them. At last we came to a stop in front of 2 groups of people. A gaggle of archers stood to our right, awkwardly firing shafts at the row of targets before them. To the left, some fighters with practice swords and shields were drilling, though their swings were clumsy and slow. It was our first chance to get a good look at what Coon had to work with, and it was not exactly heartening. Most of these fighters looked to be anything but. They were farmers, craftsmen, and shopkeepers. Every so often I would glimpse the brawny arms and solid frames of blacksmiths or woodsfolk, but they were few and far between, and they were as helpless with their swords as anyone else. Smiths are usually skilled at crafting steel, but not wielding it. Green Squadron, Black Squadron. Tu's voice ripped through the morning air. Form
Close
up!
my door, bud.
The people around us stopped what they were doing and looked at Tu curiously. One by one they approached and formed into 2 ragged lines. They were slow about it, seemingly more confused than interested.
Morning, Ari.
They approached and formed into 2 ragged lines. They were slow about it.
There you are. You son of a bitch. There we go.
They were slow about it, seemingly more confused than interested. "Green Squadron," said 2, addressing the sword fighters and waving his hand at Mag. "You have a new sergeant. Her name is Mag, and she will see to your training from now on. Black Squadron, you will now be reporting to Albern of the family Telfer." Dryleaf raised a hand. "And where are my soldiers, if I may be so bold?" That got a chuckle from 2, as well as from many of the assembled militia. "An oversight on my part, grandfather," said 2. "I will find a squadron for you as soon as I am able." He turned back to Meg and me. "You will report to me at the end of each day. Muster is at dawn every morning, and while we train, your soldiers are expected on duty 10 days a week. Any questions?" "No, sir," said Mag and I. "Excellent." 2 gave a small sigh and looked our squadrons over. "Get to work, then. You have much to do." "Sir." Mag and I snapped off salutes, which I thought were passingly suitable for how out of practice we were. 2 waved and left us, heading towards his other units. Each of us went to our squadrons. I eyed the archers before me critically, and Mag did the same with her sword fighters. My mind began to fall into old habits, and I noticed myself picking out those who stood poised and ready, those who seemed...
Welcome back.
Those who seemed lost, and those who seemed lazy. "All right, recruits," said Mag at last. "We have watched you dance. Now you will learn how to fight." As we began... will learn how to fight. As we began our training, Dryleaf headed off into Taitu with Oku, seeking information. I led my squadron over to a row of targets, while Mag took hers to the practice rings. Some of the archers began to line up and prepare to fire, but I called them back. "Hold a moment. You know my name, but I have not learned any of yours. I can hardly instruct you if I must resort to calling out, 'You there,' every time." I pointed to the closest of them, a large man whose black skin and great height spoke of Feldamarian descent. His thick locks were bound into a tail that swayed when he moved. "What is your name?" He looked uncomfortably to either side of him, as if making sure I was talking to him and not someone else. "Chausaku, sir." "Well met, Chausaku," I said. "If you do not mind my asking, why are you here?" Chausaku blinked. "Sir?" I answered the call to defend Dorsey from... "Forgive me, that is not what I meant," I said. "I mean that you look to be at least 10 hands tall, and your shoulders are almost as broad as my bow is long. Why are you here in this squadron, rather than with the sword fighters?" His dark face darkened still further in a flush. "I'm a hunter by trade, sir. I'm skilled with a bow already, and I have never wielded a sword, and do not want to." "Well, you shall have to learn regardless," I told him. "Bowcraft is all well and good, but if the enemy gets close, you shall be glad of a blade with which to defend yourself. Still, I'm glad you are already familiar with your weapon. Who else here already knows something of archery?" 7 of them threw their hands up, but one woman did so faster than the rest. She was short and slight, with black hair cut to sweep forward rakishly. Her skin looked only recently sun-browned, as though she were more used to spending her days indoors. Her eyes were sharp and focused on me like a hawk's. I pointed to her. "You, what is your name?" "Jian, sir," she said. I pointed to her. "You, what..." pointed to her. You, what is your name? To her. You, what is your name?
Oh yeah, yeah. You should check out the books, Ari. Underrealm is very gender neutral in general.
To her. You, what is your... To her. You, what is your name? Jian, sir, she said, lifting her chin slightly. And where did you learn to shoot? My father was a hunter and a bowyer, she said. I studied bowcraft under him, and I still work with him in his shop. A bowyer, I said, delighted. I am a bowyer.
Oof.
A bowyer, I said, delighted. I am one myself, or was until almost a year ago. We shall have to trade techniques sometime. I would be glad to, sir, she said. Then her smile twisted. And I am not afraid to learn how to kill up close, as some others are. That gave me pause, and I noticed another flush creeping into Chausaku's cheeks, but this time from anger rather than embarrassment. Well, I'm afraid I must disappoint you as well, I said, and raised my voice to address the entire squadron. The most important thing you will learn from me is not how to kill. That is something you will learn as an unfortunate matter of course. But I hope you will focus on another skill that is much more important. First and foremost, I will teach all of you how to stay alive. Jian frowned and pushed her hair back off her forehead. It seems to me that the best way to stay alive is to kill one's enemy so that they are no threat. And do you imagine your enemy will stand there and let you plant an arrow in their eye? I countered. I would say rather that the best way to kill your foe is to stay alive long enough to do it. And besides, there are many more dangers in a campaign than the soldiers you will face on the battlefield. Hunger and cold, and especially disease, have killed far more soldiers than any battle in the long pages of history. Yet the bards will never sing songs of dysentery. Being a good soldier mostly means keeping yourself healthy until battle finally comes. If you do not learn how to survive a forced march, no tricks of archery I could teach you will be of the least use. Do you understand? They gave me a scattered chorus of yes, sir. Jan mumbled it along with the rest of them, but I wondered if she genuinely grasped my meaning or if she even wished to. I decided to let it go for the moment. I was new to these people, and it is an inferior officer whose first action is to throw their weight around. Very good, I said. Now, has anyone here fought before? Any veterans at all? To my dismay, only one man raised his hand, a man slightly older than me, whose pale skin and flaming red hair and beard marked him as a Hedon. He looked around at the rest of the squadron, and he seemed surprised to be the only one with his hand up. That told me the unit had only recently formed, and most of them had not had time to meet or learn much about each other. Well, that is one at least, I said, trying to hide my disappointment. What is your name? Halan, sir, he said crisply, drawing up straight. He spoke with the rolling, lilting quality and strange affects of hedgeman, and his great beard jumped when he talked. I'm a veteran of King Kashunal's army in my youth, though that's nearly a score of years ago now. But I saw action, sir. I'm glad to hear it, I said. Do you remember your training drills, Halan? He flashed a grin to reveal bright teeth, but also 2 gaps in them. I'm sure they'll come back quick, sir. His smile was infectious, and I found myself returning it. Very good. Then let us finish our instructions and get to work. We have much to do, and not enough time for it.
Okay. Come on, ACX. You can do it. You can process the audio file. I believe in you. Hey, look at that. Quick restroom break. Hey, what's up, Kiki Hot? I'm going to use the restroom real quick, and then I'm going to play a little bit of Elden Ring before I have to go to work. Oh. Whoa. Okay. What do you mean update? There we go. How dare you? Forcing me to update? I don't want to update. I want to play my fucking game. Time to be bad at a video game, everyone. Hope you're ready to laugh at me. Hello. There we go. All right. Today's quest is to retrieve my souls without dying. Wait, do I have souls to retrieve? I do not. What is today's quest? Oh, yeah. Where's my equipment at? That's not too bad. Alright, I guess it's to keep upgrading my equipment. Oh, or did I want to go... I think I want to go do the tower and upgrade my great room. Maybe. What do I want to do? Wait, I did upgrade. I did my great rune. Okay, it's fine. I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. Sure. Okay, alright. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Wonder how that's going to affect my swords. Can I one-hit backstab with this sword now? I cannot. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna use the sword spear till endgame. Like, it's heavily upgraded. It's my strongest weapon. It scales better with dex than almost anything else in the game. The only thing is I can't put bleed on it, but I think that's okay. Get them smithing stones. Thread the needle. Stabby stab. Oop. I don't need to mess with any of these guys to make the climb, do I? I'm just realizing now. Huh. What if I just ignored them? Goodbye, Pumpkinhead. Is that guy gonna see me? Who knows? We're all gonna find out together. Be wary of trap. Okay. 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 Yeah, nobody saw me. Okay. Nice to know that can be bypassed if I want. God damn. Every time. Okay. Climb begins. Right? Yeah? Nothing else over here? Okay. Okay. Is there anything to explore over there? 'Cause I feel like these two... Oh, what the hell. Let's make a bad decision. Okay, that went better than expected. Ooh. 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 Okay. Okay. There's more of them. There's way more of them. No, 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 no. You don't care about me. Leave me alone. Oh, I hate these things so much. Do I have any reason for going over here? Any reason to care about you people at all? Is there anything valuable? Items? No? Okay. We're gonna say no. We're gonna keep going for where we've been trying to go. We're gonna do the smart thing. God, this game makes me so paranoid. Heh. It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna be fine. You're gonna be just fine. Are they gonna fight? Nope, they're cool with each other. Huh. That's never happened before. Okay, so now I'm going to fight you. Because the other guy left. So it's not going to be 2-on-1. Here we go. Can I get a backstab? I can? Oh my god. Oh, my day is made. This is this spot, right? Okay, okay, this is going well. Is this finally going to work? Are we doing this? Okay. This is where we died last time. Top of this ladder. Top of this ladder. Big bad. Big bad scary. Big bad scary night. But we got this, right? Do we got this? I think we got this. Do we even need to bother with the night? Can we just keep going? Can we sneak past? Is that a foolish thought? Should we try? Oh, God. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Please no kill. No kill, please. Oh. More people coming. Okay, 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 okay. See? We're fine. We're fine. We're alive. You all just ignore me. There's no reason to come after me. I really wish I had that telescope thing that they offered to sell you very early in the... Oh, what is that? No, what are... Oh, why is there more than one of you? I do not want... Crossbow? Crossbow shot, right? Yeah. Yeah, come get me. All by yourself. Oh, it's just these little guys? Okay. Okay. But do I want to run up and engage them? That's probably fine. There's only 2 left, right? Okay, there's items here. There's more bad guys. Sneaky sneak, get the item. Poison grease. We love poison. Whoa, what the fuck are these? These aren't like the other ones. Are they? Maybe they are. I didn't... Oh, nope, nope. Those are the little stabby stabs. We hate them. Come here. Come on. Fuck. You gonna come fight me this time? Yeah, you are. Okay, 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 okay. One left. Here you go. Oh, oh, please tell me we made it to the cave. This is the cave. Oh my god. 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 We did it. Huh. I've been trying to get here for so long. Oh my god. $15,102 for my next level. Okay. Oh, somebody died over here. That's fun. Hate that. Hate how dark it is. Where's that torch? There you go. Be wary of enemy. Thanks. The fuck? The fuck? Oh no, 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 no. We hate this. The fire breath thing was pretty cool. I didn't know I could do that. Group ahead. What time is it? Ah, okay. Alright, let's try and do one more room. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, what the fuck? You fucking die, you fucking creepy as shit piece of fuck. Fuck. Fuck that thing. Huh. Scared the fucking shit out of me. Fucking Christ. Hey, Danny. Good to see ya. How you doing? This game scares me so goddamn much. Fucking. Oh. Oh, why is there a mist? Why is there a foggy mist? Fuck. I'm at level 50. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Oh god. Okay, okay. I got this. Whew. Okay, here we go. Okay. What the fuck is this? No, 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 no. No, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Ooh, ooh. Oh, jar cannon. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Oh, no, no, no. Oh, yeah, I guess. fuck is a jar cannon? Okay. I love this game so much. Oh, why are there more bad guys? No, it's fine. We're going to level up. We're going to level up. And everything's going to be fine. Then we don't have to worry about losing all of our goddamn runes again. Okay. Whew. Okay, we're good on strength. Now we're just pushing vigor and dex. Yeah. The fuck is a jar cannon? Ballista? It's literally a cannon? Hell yes. Hell yes. 34 strength? Oh, fuck that. Yeah, I want a goddamn cannon. I love it. So, if I'm understanding correctly, I can heal myself. That's nice. Okay. Alright. I have to go. Time for me to head off to work. Caves are fucking scary, man. Especially when the fucking red-eyed monsters running at you down the tunnel with fucking spinning blade arm. Ugh. Shit was not cool, Elden Ring. Can't do that to me. Alright, let's throw a little raid. Oof. Ugh. Who is streaming? Wordwin and Fariha. Let's throw a raid to Fariha. Fariha is a game and variety streamer. Super cool. Say hi for me. I will be back on with another stream. Ugh. Tomorrow morning. What's tomorrow? Thursday? Yeah. Yeah, cool. Alright, everyone. Peace out. Thank you for coming and hanging. And I will catch you next time. Bye!
The cool stuff you can do with your mouth. That sounded so cool. Know about the cool stuff that you can do with your voice. There you go. I fixed it.